Hello and welcome. This is for this Special Services Committee portion of the webinar. Pamela Penton, Vice President of the New Community Development, who works for the Management Trust, Trans-Pacific Division in Southern California, will be giving us a presentation on communities with declarant involvement. Pamela has worked with the new community development team for Trans-Pacific for the past 7 years. We hope the information about to be presented is useful and beneficial in your future endeavor into the new development world. So welcome to the Special Services webinar on section on communities with declarant and/or builder involvement. Within this presentation, we will touch base on quite a few basic functions of a community that still has the builder or declarant actively involved. Some of the subject matter in this presentation is based on California law and may not pertain to other states. Pamela, take it away.
Thanks, Nick. All right, communities with declarant involvement. What does that mean? We need to know the difference between the developer and the builder. There will be references through the webinar that will either refer to the declarant or the builder. The declarant shall mean and refer to the entity that has legal interest in the community for the purpose of purchase or sale. Oftentimes, there's a declarant and a builder. However, for California, the reference to builder often carries the declarant role. What does it mean to work within a community where the declarant or builder is still involved? The simple answer is the builder has the responsibility to complete and turn over all common areas of the community prior to having a full homeowner board. Typically, it's a community that is still fairly new, in which the builder is still involved and typically holds positions on the board of directors. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the presentation. As in any new community, it is extremely important to have read all the documents pertaining to the community. One of the documents of extreme importance to understand and read are the Conditions of Approval report. This report is the first startup of document creating the guidelines of the community and is the builder's instructions to proceed with startup construction. Conditions of approval are referred to those conditions outlined by the city or county entity in which the builder must comply for final approval of their association building plans. For all managers, it's important that these conditions are reviewed so the manager knows under what guidelines the community was created. For instance, the city may have mandated that the builder provide a tree prevention program that must be passed on to all of its owners. Knowing these kinds of restrictions and guidelines are important when managing a new community. The CCNR subsidy agreements, disclosure statements, and white reports. These important documents are the documents that have created the makeup of the community and are filed and recorded with the city. Knowing what is contained in each document is an essential tool in managing a new community. Subsidy agreements are the builder's pledge to pay a portion of the assessments in the beginning of a new community. Disclosure statements are the builder's format for informing owners of all the specific disclosure issues in the community. They will oftentimes include parking restrictions and other restrictions in the community and will also disclose surrounding areas. In California, the white report, or otherwise known as a public report, are documents filed with the state that enables the builder to take deposits on the lots and proceed with escrow closings. DRE budgets. What is a DRE budget? In California, submitting budgets to the Department of Real Estate for approval is required. Each builder has to submit their proposed budget for approval for each of their associations to the Department of Real Estate. The DRE has guidelines they follow when approving budgets to ensure that the builder has included all major expense components to properly fund and run the association. These budgets include operating costs needed to properly run the community, as well as providing the reserve allocation for funding for each phase. The reserve funding allocation in the DRE budget is extremely important for the onset of the community. Managers will be asked to perform a reserve study at the end of the first year if the community is nearing completion. Managers need to ensure that the DRE portion of the reserve is always provided to the new reserve analyst to ensure that all components are captured in this new study. All budgets require general recorded specific documents such as site maps, condo plans, and tract maps. The manager does not have to worry about these items, as those specific documents are given to the budget preparer at the beginning of the project. There are different types of budgets that can be crafted for any new community. The one budget per phase budget, or a traditional budget, is one where all phases of the property are submitted and approved by the DRE at once, and they contain monthly equal assessments. Equal assessments are the same assessment to every homeowner. There are budgets that call for variable assessments, which are assessments based on unit square footage. Phasing budgets are referred to and used for each segment or phase of the construction for the association. Each phase is activated with a new escrow closing in that phase, which is depicted in an annexation schedule. Annexation schedules also serve as a tool to know when each common lot will be activated or brought on in the community, such as landscape areas, tot lots, pools, and other amenities. Managers should also be aware when each common lot is going to be activated so they can ensure a proper turnover from builder to association is performed and the appropriate vendor is set up. These turnovers include all utilities for each of those phases, whether it's electricity, water for an irrigation meter, or gas consumption for the community pool. In range of assessments, the builder may not want to build in sequence of a traditional phase budget. The range of a bus assessment is then created. The prospective buyers are told that their assessment may fluctuate, however, cannot exceed a certain figure or go below a certain figure. The builder can then build whichever product the community is selling well, as long as that budget figure for that phase does not drop below the range. Associations are operating under DREs have the ability to alter a DRE budget and are under the same guideline that is used for regular budget review. Without the vote of the membership, assessments cannot be raised 20% or reduced under 10. Because the initial budget is submitted to the DRE by the builder, managers need to make sure that when coming off a DRE budget and a new budget is formulated, all expense history is studied and captured to ensure a new functional budget. There is nothing worse in coming off a DRE budget and instantly increasing the assessments by 20%. This gives the perception to the homeowners that the builder did not prepare a reasonable budget in the beginning. Getting started. When getting started in setting up a new community, there are many key factors to consider and implement. Creating the community's annual calendar, which will include all scheduled board meetings, the annual meeting, and such details as all the maintenance items to be performed. Such important maintenance items for communities may include gutter cleaning, window washing, and certain equipment services. Obtaining bids for a new community oftentimes happens fast and furious, and actual meetings cannot always be held. So it's so important to create and adopt standard resolutions to enable managers to have authority to proceed in setting up new association vendors. As suggested in previous slides, the time frame for turnover common area is performed at each phase that does include some form of common area such as landscaping and or a community pool. The turnover of a common area is extremely important to the builder and should be performed timely and professionally by the managing team. Resolutions for certain items such as engaging a general counsel, procedures and protocols for the release of common area bonds and other bonds, retaining the first contract such as landscapers and pool vendors, or how to handle a turnover are always good to create in the beginning so there's no question on the validity of how any of the business of the association or turnover of the common area property has been handled. If an association will be processing many architectural applications, establishing and retaining your architect is extremely important. When starting a new community, The anticipated first annual meeting and future board meetings can be highly scrutinized by the owners. It's always a good idea when mailing the information for the first annual meeting and subsequent meetings, give detailed information on what to expect at each of the meetings. Remember, not everyone has lived in a planned community before and will be very anxious if they don't understand the process. Be sure that once the Board of Directors have been officially elected at the first annual meeting, all regular board meetings are scheduled for the same time and same place. This allows owners the ability to calendar the event for attendance. Bonds. Throughout the community, construction and development, the declarant builder will ask for bonds to be released. These bonds are either in assessment bond form or maintenance bond form, which can also be referred to as common facility bonds. These bonds are pledges from the builder that they will pay their share of the assessment on time and in full, and that the common area of the communities are constructed on time. Builders will come to the manager and request bonds to be released when it is time. It's a good idea to establish how the bonds will be released and by whom. As managers, it is our responsibility to ensure that any paperwork relating to the release of the bonds are ratified and placed for the entire board's review and knowledge. The manager and/or builder representative for the management company will gain trust with their builder clients by always acting prudently when handling issues presented to them. Proactive managers and communicative managers are the best partnering tools a builder can have. Managers need to take an active role in carrying out through all owners the builder's vision of the new community. For the builder, the utility turnover tracking and shifting the expense from the association is a huge help. Making sure that a new phase comes on, the insurance coverage is updated and certificates are issued. It is strongly recommended that having the proper procedure and protocol within your company on reporting any builder issue is in place. A good example would be if owners or a builder wanted to put the builder in a position where there was a threat to sue the developer. Oftentimes the manager is right in the middle of being the mediator on how to unify the owner board and builder on touchy issues. Well, diving into new community world is both challenging and rewarding. Helping the builder board and homeowner board create policies and procedures for their community is instrumental in establishing a new and healthy, harmonious community. Being able to participate in that success is our main goal for these new communities, and we hope that after listening to Communities with Declarant Involvement will strike your interest to become involved in this type of community with your division within the trust. Thank you.